For those of you who don't know, Virgil Hill is one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. He was a long reigning champion. I remember his first step up to truly world class was against Tommy Hearns, and that was his first loss. But after he rebounded from the Tommy Hearns loss, he went on a very, very long streak as light heavyweight champion, which lasted God knows how many years. It seemed like it was going to go on forever when Virgil Hill was light heavyweight champion. He was from North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, I think he was from. And most of his fights were in Bismarck, North Dakota. He was never the most entertaining fighter. He was pretty much one-handed. He won most of his fights off the left jab. He had good feet. He moved very, very well. And he would just jab people to death and generally win 12-round points decisions. But anyway, that's by the by. Maybe I'll do a separate video about Virgil Hill and his career, if anybody's interested. But anyway, in this particular article, Virgil Hill is interviewed about what he thought of the Adonis Stevenson Badou Jack fight and what he thinks of the light heavyweight scene at the moment in general. And here he says, Andre Ward is the guy. Everybody else is damaged goods. Stevenson has to fight Kovalev or it's all for naught. They have to fight to determine who's the best light heavyweight or who cares. He goes on to say, yeah, he can, as in Stevenson, claim to be the best, but the volume of fighters and the competition has always suffered in the light heavyweight, the super middleweight and cruiserweight divisions. So if you defend 1 or 2 or 3 times, you can say that. In my personal opinion, he hasn't fought the best fighters out there or even looked good doing it. He's difficult because he fights left-handed. That's it. And finally here, he's talking about Jack's performance and he says, that wasn't enough to win the title. Jack had the chance and he let him back in. All he had to do is win 1 round. If Stevenson won all the early ones from 1 to 6, then he just needed 1 out of the 5 of the later rounds to win the fight. Jack crowded himself and took away those big long arms of his. He tried to fight on the inside when he should have blasted him from the outside where he was beating him. Superman was hanging on the inside. I would have pushed the pace early and stepped on it in the later rounds, gassed him out, then just outboxed him and made him use his old legs. Game over. So those are the words of Virgil Hill. Now, I'll say a few things about this. In terms of Badou Jack not engaging Stevenson at long range, because he really didn't engage him at long range for the whole fight. Early in the fight, I understand not engaging Stevenson at long range because Stevenson's power is mostly at long range. Stevenson can fight on the inside, but his preferred method of delivering power is the long left hand from long range. You know, big left hand from long range. So Jack didn't want to engage him at long range too much. He wanted to draw Stevenson's sting, let him tire himself out, and then he would go in when Stevenson was tired and start trying to break him down. However, when Virgil Hill says he should have used, kept it long and used his long arms, I actually agree. In the later rounds, when Stevenson was dog tired, it might have actually been better for Badou Jack. He might have been able to get more done at long range when Stevenson was dead tired. I think he should have mixed it up. Let's just put it that way. I don't think it would have been prudent to fight Stevenson at long range throughout the entirety of the second half of the fight, because being close to Stevenson is part of what was tiring Stevenson out. But I do think that in spots he could have gone long range and he might have been able to catch Stevenson more cleanly because Stevenson was holding a lot on the inside. There was a lot of mauling up close and Badou Jack wasn't able to get off as many clean punches on the inside as we've seen him against people like James DeGale, for example, where he was really able to get off a lot of clean shots up close. And that's partly to do with Stevenson's holding. Stevenson, even at 40 years old, is clearly a physically strong man, because you look at the Cleverly fight. Cleverly couldn't, deal with Badou Jack physically on the inside as well as Stevenson did. And certainly the super middleweights like James DeGale, he clearly is not as physically strong as somebody like Adonis Stevenson. When Stevenson wanted to wrap Badou Jack up, a lot of the time there was very little Badou Jack could do about it. Stevenson's physically strong. I was quite impressed by the physical strength that he had, given that Badou Jack was seemingly the bigger man. So, that element could have been neutralized if Badou Jack had used a bit more long-range boxing in the late rounds when Stevenson was tired. But then again, when you see how hurt Badou Jack was from the left-hand body shot in the 10th, there's an argument to be made that he actually fought the right way, and all he needed to do was just start breaking Stevenson down on the inside earlier than he did. I think he could have started around the 5th or 6th round, a bit earlier. But anyway, that's by the by. As far as what Virgil Hill says he would have done, that he would have, started fast and done all this to Stevenson. Look, Virgil Hill, a great fighter, but he wasn't a puncher. And he used his jab a lot, Virgil Hill. He was a very good technical boxer. I think Virgil Hill maybe, I don't know how much of Stevenson Virgil Hill's actually seen, but I question the tactics Virgil Hill's talking about here. That he would have started fast against Stevenson. If you start fast against Stevenson, you're going to give him a lot to work with. You're going to give Stevenson a lot of opportunities to hit you. So, I still think Stevenson for the first, 4 rounds is a dangerous fighter for anybody. And if you're going to start coming out throwing a lot of punches at him, he can clip you with something that will take you out. Badou Jack never got caught with a big left hand, so he's kind of cocky at the moment, thinking, Stevenson don't hit that hard. Well, you never got hit by the big left hand, and that's testament to Badou Jack's excellent defense. But I don't think anyone should get tricked into thinking that Stevenson's power is not what it used to be. I think he's still got some tremendous power there. And yeah, someone like Virgil Hill, not a puncher, a technical guy, mostly a guy who operated at long range. If he came out and started fast against Stevenson, man, that's dangerous. that's dangerous. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about Virgil Hill's comments here on the light heavyweight division. He's pretty much unimpressed by anybody at light heavyweight right now, Virgil Hill. He says Andre Ward is still the man. Guys like Stevenson and Badou Jack don't impress him. He didn't think Badou Jack did enough to win the title. He gave away too many early rounds, which is, the narrative that a lot of people are coming with as well. So, yeah, let me know how you feel in the comment section below. We have some stats here about Virgil Hill. 20 successful title defenses. I knew he reigned for a long time. I remember it. I remember the Virgil Hill heyday. He was champion forever. I thought he was never going to, relinquish his or lose his light heavyweight title at one point. It was just a staple in boxing. Virgil Hill's the light heavyweight champion, and that's that. He wasn't undisputed. I can't remember which version he had. Was it the WBA or the IBF? I think it was one of the two. But he was just champion forever. And he was fighting in North Dakota, and that's the only place he ever fought. Every other month, Virgil Hill fight, North Dakota, jab some guy to death, 12 round points decision. Anyway, let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out.